is First Lady Redonda again, and I'm cooking in the kitchen. And so today I want to make for you my famous chicken spaghetti. And I have a little bit of prep work already done, as you can see, but just want to give you a kind of a brief overview of the ingredients. But what I have here is a boneless, skinless chicken breast. Actually, it's 3 of them that I have already sauteed on the top of the stove, and I've cooked them fully, and now I've just kind of rough chopped them. And then I have a half of a bell pepper, and I have a whole yellow onion that I have chopped. And then I have cream of chicken soup, and then I have a can of the diced tomatoes, and we're going to use Velveeta. And at the end of it, we're going to use some cheddar cheese just melted on top. So let's go ahead and go over to the stove and let's get started. I've already boiled my spaghetti, so I've kind of done a lot of the prep work. This is a really good weeknight meal. If you need to get a meal on the table in a hurry for your family, this meal you can get it done and have it on the table in under an hour. I'm serious, I've done it so many times. So the first thing I want to do, I've turned my pot on. You want to use a big, nice size pot, because I've already cooked about 2 pounds of spaghetti. I've already boiled it. This is a large can of cream of chicken soup, and so I'm just adding it first. And then what I like to do is equal parts of cream of chicken soup to water, to milk. This is 2% milk that I'm using. And so basically, once I add that, then I get my whisk, and I just start whisking this until it gets smooth. And I'm starting my fire up on high so it can go ahead and start incorporating. I'm whisking it until it's smooth. And then I'll just turn it down a little bit. And I usually make a lot of this because my kids like it. But you can really make as little or as much as you want to make, depending on the size of your family. And it makes great leftovers. It tastes even better in the after it's been in the refrigerator overnight. The next day it tastes even better. And so I'm going to let that continue to simmer and incorporate. And I'm going to as you can see, this is Velveeta cheese. I had a little bit of it left over from a previous recipe. And I'm just kind of opening up this new package of Velveeta so that you can just kind of see how I slice it so that it can go into the cream of chicken and the milk recipe. All right. So I'm just going to take my butter knife very easily and just start slicing it. And this is actually a 10 ounce, but I don't think I'll use the entire portion since I had some left over from a previous package of Velveeta, so I may not use all of it. But you do want this to be really cheesy. This is a pasta dish, and so we know pasta is really good with cheese, melted cheese. But this is kind of a spin because it's got the diced tomatoes, which is going to make it kind of spicy, and then you have the chicken and the onions and the bell pepper. And so I'm just kind of rough chopping this, and I'm going to add this to the mixture. Make it really cheesy. Woo, splatter. All right. So, and as you can see, you can look at it and see how it's already just kind of thickened up. And the cheese is going to make it even thicker. So it's going to be a really thick sauce with all the cheese in it. And then the next thing that I add is the diced tomatoes. And as you can see, it gives it a pretty color with the tomatoes added in, and I'm just mixing it all in. If it's a little bit thick for you, you can add more milk, and you can kind of thin it out a little bit if it's a little too thick for you. But remember, the sauce is going to be incorporated in, the spaghetti is going to go in, and the chicken's going to go in, and it's going to be like a one pot dish. And so I'm just going to let that continue to kind of simmer for a little bit and let the cheese melt. You want this Velveeta to melt until it's completely smooth as you use your whisk. Okay, so I'm just going to clean up a bit, and then I'll come back. Once this is smoothed out, we'll come back and add the next step. Thanks. Okay, we are back, and I'm still whisking this mixture of the cream of chicken soup and the milk, and also the Velveeta that I put in here, and also the can, the small can of the diced tomatoes and green chilies, kind of similar to Rotel. And so I'm whisking it, and it's pretty much smooth. So the next thing that I want to do is I want to add the diced onion and the green bell peppers. And when I add that, I'm going to just whisk that in really good as well. See how it gives it a really pretty color? You can see all those tomatoes in there. You can see the onions and the green peppers in there. And it's really smooth. Now I did, during the break, I did add just a little bit more, maybe about 1/4 cup of more of milk, because it was a little bit thick for me. And it's going to continue to thicken up, and so I didn't want it to be too thick, because I'm going to add the chicken and I'm going to add the spaghetti to it. And I don't want it to be so thick, like a custard or anything like that. We don't want that. So this just kind of continues to simmer. And now that everything is kind of whisked in very smoothly, then the next thing I do is I add the chicken. Now, how I prepared this chicken, if you want to know, this again is boneless, skinless chicken breast, and there's 3 of them that I just kind of rough chopped here. But what I did was I marinated them in Italian dressing for about 3 hours, and then I sauteed them on top of the stove. I used a little bit of Mrs. Dash seasoning, which is a no salt seasoning that I really like to use, because if you remember, I don't really like to add a whole lot of salt to my food. I think table salt, you know, just kind of adds to the sodium levels, and you already have high sodium in the diced tomatoes, and you already have high sodium in the cream of chicken soup, and so you don't necessarily need to add salt. So I didn't, when I sauteed the chicken, I just really basically just marinated it in zesty Italian dressing for about 3 hours and just sauteed it on top of the stove. So now that everything is in there into our mixture, it's just gonna actually just thicken up. And I just kind of cover it for a couple of minutes, maybe about 5 minutes, and let it thicken. And then the last step is really to add the spaghetti. And then you're going to be done once you put it all together, and maybe sprinkle a little cheese on top. But we'll be back in a minute, and I'll show you, get ready to show you to add the pasta and the chicken on top, the cheese on top. and we'll be almost done. Be back in a bit. Okay, we're back, and we are ready to add the spaghetti. As you can see, the sauce is really thickened up nicely, and everything's incorporated. So now we're ready to add the spaghetti. Of course, this is chicken spaghetti. And this is a great weeknight meal, any night of the week, any day of the week meal. I'm just adding the spaghetti that I've cooked. And of course, you just cook your spaghetti according to your package directions. Okay, so I'm just using my large spoon there, and I'm just stirring it in. As you can see those large bits of chicken breast chunks. You can see the can of diced tomatoes and green chilies. You can see the onion in there, and you can see those green peppers. It makes it really colorful. And so the spaghetti, of course, is going to soak up a lot of that liquid, so that's why you want to make sure that it's not too thick, because you don't want it to be dry. And so you see how moist that is. And the last thing that I do, because we love our cheese in my family, I basically just add some mild cheddar cheese on top, and just let it kind of simmer on top of the stove, and all that cheese will just melt. This is also a dish that you can take if you've been invited to a potluck. It's really easy. You can just, instead of taking it in a big pot, you would just transfer it over to a casserole dish or a full pan, and you will honestly get rave reviews. Everyone loves this dish. I've been making it for a long time, and everybody just really loves it, and they always ask me to make it all the time. So basically, that's chicken spaghetti. Just move it out of the way. Okay, so this is your chicken spaghetti, and I just really just turn the fire down low. Just let it kind of simmer. That cheese will melt. It'll be ooey and gooey on top there, and that's your meal. You got chicken spaghetti. It's one of my favorites, and my kids love it too. So my husband loves it too. So we all love it. But it's our favorite, one of our favorite pasta meals to make. So I hope you try the recipe. I hope you like it, and let me know what you think. Thank you, and have a great day. Be blessed. I just wanted to show you the finished product with the cheese all melted on top. And basically, I just cooked some rolls with it and some simple green beans, or you can do a salad. But that's the meal, chicken spaghetti. Be blessed.